Hi ladies and gentlemen, today is February 22nd, 2017. I wanted to bring up this thing that was on the Alex Jones show yesterday with former Congressman Curt Weldon. I put up a Twitter on that, but I think this is a very significant development. Background information: Curt Weldon was very much involved in getting information on the corruption in the Clintons and in the government. All kinds of things that were happening, and I won't go into all the details here. You can go look it up yourself. And basically what happened was, when he started to talk about it around, I guess, 10 years ago or so, according to him, his life, or at least the well-being of his family, was threatened. Kind of typical, you know. Well, seeing what the fake stream media and elements of the government, and again, I don't believe in rogue elements of the CIA. The CIA is the problem, and as I said in a couple of videos now, I'm really getting tired of hearing about, it's just a rogue element of the CIA. Those people wouldn't get away with that unless people in the upper echelons were behind it. So, and anyway, I'm really wondering if Pompeo is going to be able to do anything about that. I really still think it's going to take a military takeover of the CIA to even begin to try to fix that. But at any rate, so Curt Weldon came out with this information yesterday, kind of on a on-the-spot interview where they just wanted to get it out right now. And that's the way it should be. All of this stuff, all of this information needs to be dumped out now. First of all, so people can't blackmail you with it or threaten you. Once it gets out in the public, then if something happens to you, you know why. So that was the problem with Michael Hastings. He held on to that information and kept saying, I've got this information, and then his car runs away, and he supposedly hits a tree, after the car exploded. And the same thing with a lot of other people, which I won't go through all the names here now. But former Congressman Curt Weldon's doing the right thing, and in my estimation, he can't do it fast enough. And we're still calling on, Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump, all those people to go forward with all this. We can't worry about embarrassing the government or what it might do to the trust in the government. If anything, it'll show that the government's trying to clean out its turds and its BS and its corruption. So, and that of course is why the fake stream media, which is nothing more than an arm of the CIA and the deep state, is fighting against it so much. But unfortunately, where I really want to go with this video today, and I haven't done this for a while, I've read some articles lately, and I won't even repeat where they were, but at any rate, I did some videos a long time ago about the evils of homosexuality, the whole LGBTQ deal, all that, what it does to societies, and it's the foundation upon which pedophilia takes root. Did a lot of videos about that a couple years back, and even got a lot of flack from certain members of my family over it who are trying to be trendy. And unfortunately, this is not a good situation. It's very bad. Now, I did a couple of videos also here not too long ago, maybe a few months back, where I talked about, and I'm going to talk some scripture here, but from a different kind of perspective. When Abraham took care of his nephew Lot. Lot was taken captive, and Abraham basically enlisted the help of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah to retrieve Lot, and then even gave them some of the spoils of the war. The point being that Abraham knew that this whole thing with homosexuality and transgenderism and all of that was evil. But he knew it, and he just abided in his own faith and counsel with it, okay? Even to the point where God and two angels come to him in the plains of Mamre, and Abraham finds out, of course, that God's going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and he goes through this negotiation process, partly because of his concerns for Lot and his family, but I think it was also because Abraham believe so much in mercy and loving kindness, as dangerous as these people were and what they were doing. And he negotiated God down from, he said, well, please save him for 50's sake, and then all the way down to 10. And then God couldn't even find 10. The point that I'm making here is that it's one thing to recognize that this, and I'm going to call it what it is, okay, this perversion, this deviance in society, in the male-female relationship, is tolerated. And I know about, first you're angry, and then you accept, and then you tolerate, and then you that whole step process where then you embrace. Okay, I know that, and that's kind of why I'm concerned about this. So we've had even Donald Trump embracing the LGBT community in such a way that it's, I think, again, we're talking too much about material wealth and military strength. Now, I realize when he's talking to the masses of people, he's got to center his comments around the lowest common denominator that he dares go, so that he can get his message out to at least the majority of the people. But it's a very, very thin line here. Very, very thin line. And I'm going to talk mostly about this LGBTQ thing again right now. So where it needs to be is that we recognize it's there, but we don't embolden it, we don't celebrate it, we don't embrace it, we don't push it. And anybody who does, we should look at them and say, hey, you're out of bounds here. And with the fake stream media and the deep state and the CIA, they're actually using it as a weapon against God's creation. Now, I'm going to hear all kinds of arguments one way or another, but I'm not going to give them voice here. I mean, you guys can argue about it in the comments section if you want. You can call me names, homophobic, all those things. I don't really care, and I don't think most of you will do that. There's always a few, especially the ones that always give me a thumbs down, the guys that watch me all the time, whatever, to make sure that they get their little licks in before people start getting their comments up. But at either rate, I'm really worried that this thing is a problem. And this is Lucifer's, I'm just going to say it. And again, this is Lucifer's secret weapon. The degrading of human sexuality into this LGBTQ, TQ, whatever, sorry. That whole thing is a degrading, is a depredation of what we're supposed to be. Milo admitted it himself, and of course a lot of this came out with Milo, right? He said he was kind of brought into this by being raped at 13, all right? Well, there are a lot of people that were raped as youngsters and didn't go that way. I'm not certain that there weren't some other factors involved, but that's not really for me to judge. Just like Abraham didn't. I'm going to leave that to God. But what Abraham didn't do, and what we cannot do, is glorify it, embolden it, push it out there as something that's normal and desirable. We've got to stop doing that, and we need to hold out as enemies those who promote those things. Well, gee, that might include Donald Trump and Mike Pence. They need to repent off of this, okay? It's one of those things, Like I say, we got to watch Donald Trump. It's probably a political move, but you can't overdo this. Saying that they have a right to live, work, fine, that's fine. But we shouldn't be holding rainbow flags. That's almost as bad as painting the White House like Obama did in the LGBT colors with those lights. We can't be doing that, because then we're sending contrary messages. Okay, we can't do that. We've got to stop it. Now, going back to Milo, I heard about it, but I hadn't seen it. Mark Dice had a comment on it on Twitter, and he probably also does on his website, with Milo bathing in pig blood. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going too far. And that's the secret weaponization of this whole thing that I worry about. Because once we accept a person, even Milo, and embolden it again, glorify it, or give it any kind of credence, Then it starts to go downhill. And I don't know when he had that picture taken, but I saw it, and I saw Molech, I saw Baal, I saw all of those horrible things. Demons, Luciferianism, that's really what that is. I don't know if Milo knows, or if he's so far gone he can't help himself. Am I turning my back on him? I never was for him. Okay? I was never for him. Obviously the left didn't like the fact they considered him a turncoat. Alright? And he was brave in that regard. But the devil is very subtle. Evil is very subtle. It usually, as we've seen with the fake stream media, with the MSM and the deep state, they usually don't take you over the cliff all at once. It's incremental. This is incrementalism attacking what and who we really are in our origins. Again, when people are like that, okay, fine, mind your own business. But when they start pushing it on you and on your children, and when they insist that they have special privileges because they're considered a minority, tough luck. Truth will win out, okay? The free market of ideas. I'm not saying we need to discriminate them or harm them in any way. Matter of fact, I abhor that. But by the same token, they can't force that on us. And I'm going to make an example. I'm going to talk about an example of this. Again, most of you know about my background. And we've talked about it on a couple of occasions. I haven't made a big deal about it because it really isn't a big deal. All right? It was all about my plural marriage activities back in the 80s and 90s. Okay? The fact of the matter is that I'm censored, even by Alex Jones and people like that, because of my association with that. He has these little innuendos all the time, and I could tell you some of the history about that, but I'm not going to. I'll just leave it at that. I don't hold it against him, but it's so interesting that they put a distance between what was an Abrahamic marriage covenant, sanctioned and honored by God in the Bible. And I'm not going to argue with people about this because you'll lose. Okay, what Jesus said in the New Testament has nothing to do with putting down what Abraham, David, Gideon, all those guys did, okay? When you talk about women's rights and all that, yeah, women should be able to marry who they want, okay? But my point is this. We'll put down that. Some of the most sacred marriage covenants in the Bible, we'll put that down. And yet, the very thing that's called disgusting by that same Bible, we elevate to a point where we're supposed to protect these people. Above and beyond normality. It will destroy us. If we allow this secret weapon of Lucifer's, which is tied into pedophilia, if we allow it to become glorified, trendy, advertised, pushed, it's going to bring us down, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how good everywhere else we do. Economics, politics, defense, rights, restoring the Constitution and all that. It's a secret weapon. Subtle. The serpent is the most subtle beast of the field. Lucifer tells you 99 true things to get that one thing into you. I'm not sure that I want to do this anymore. I'm so disgusted with the way things are going. I'm not sure that more voices out there are really going to help. I really don't know if that's true. I'm almost feeling like maybe it's time to get out of the way as best we can. I'll probably keep doing this because I have these second thoughts all the time. But people don't know what the truth is. They don't care. Truth is what they say it is, right? And you could say, well, that's what you're doing, Roy. Look, Jesus never said, I believe. He never said, I think. He said, it is written. That's why I say what I do, because it is written. It's not what I think. It's not what I believe. It is written. And that's always how I will address these issues out here.